John, a couple of years ago, you were a well-known top producer at the BBC television. Today you are teaching the Silva method full-time. What did make you to change your career 5 years ago?
One reason I went into television was to share my enjoyment and pleasure in observing events. I always wanted to share. And one day I took the Silva method and I started as a part-time teacher, and I realized that I was getting actually much more enjoyment, fulfillment from sharing the Silva method than I was sharing the television events. And also the Silva method became much more meaningful to me when I saw the dramatic effects that it was having on people's lives. When you work in television, you don't actually see the people you are reaching. But when you teach the Silva method, you see and enjoy the company of the people.
Could you tell a few interesting success stories from your classes?
There are so many that I will keep it to a few. One that touches my heart was one about a 16-year-old young lady. She came into the course because her mother brought her into the course. Throughout the first weekend, she cried. She came in on walking sticks. She was in such pain, she cried. And I'll tell you why. She suffered from a disease called sickle cell anemia. Only black people have this disease, and it seemed that she was suffering, and everybody knew that she was suffering greatly. Just the air traveling across her skin would cause her great pain. So at the end of the first weekend of the course, having taught her the Mirror of the Mind section of our course, I took her on one side and I said to her, what picture, what mirror did the doctor create in your mind of the disease? How bad did it look when he told you how things weren't working properly in the blood cells? And she then completely, in vivid color, created the picture that the doctor had put into her mind of what the disease looked like. So I suggested to her that she goes back to see the doctor on the Monday. She did. She asked the doctor to paint the picture of what a perfect blood system, how the red corpuscles and the white corpuscles working together in harmony, what they looked like. And the doctor described this in detail and in color for her. And she was very impressed. And that following week, she went to her alpha level 3 times a day, and she saw this imagery. And she lived it, just as we teach on the course. And she went through the correct processes. The next weekend, she walked into the class, and everybody was amazed because she had no walking sticks. She had no pain. She was not crying, and she was happy. Now, that to me is a success story. 3 years afterwards, we got a letter from her telling us that she had gone into her school exams. Before, with the pain, she would not have been able to concentrate on the subject matters. But she used her Silva techniques to be able to enhance her memory, her concentration, and keep the pain levels out of her life. She passed more exams than most people do. And she credits the Silva method for teaching her to do this successfully. We think that's a very powerful success story. But not everybody who comes into the course is ill. I mean, we get people who are just ordinary good citizens who want to just better their lives. And one of those people was Mary MacDonald. And Mary MacDonald came in, having left school at 13 and having worked in a factory. She heard me tell her, as we tell everybody on our courses, that they're all geniuses. And she took this to heart. And she really believed that she was a genius. Do you know what she did? She went off and started getting a night school education. From a night school education, she started getting better jobs. She's now started to work in what we call the Open University in Britain. This is a proper university degree that you can take by staying at home and working on television and working in correspondence, and you don't have to go to a university, so anybody can do it. It's open to everybody. And she's now studying that. She also has got herself a top job with the Pizza Hut company in Britain, a top job, and she's doing very well. By the way, could I add to that? Her husband's having a challenge. He thinks he should now take the silver course. Okay.
Do you have any other success stories?
Yes, indeed. I mean, in a sense, my own story was one of deciding of finding out what the changes were in my own life. But then most people find that when they come in, your thinking changes, your consciousness changes, and I think people become better citizens. Better citizens.
Finally, let me ask you, how did the silver mind control change your personal life?
Well, my own life, I was a harassed, criticized, fearful television producer. And the creative trades, the creative skills are a sensitive skill, and most people are very sensitive to criticism. I think in my own life it taught me to be able to cope with problems, to cope with criticism from other people, but most important, it taught me to be able to approach life in a very relaxed state. That is not to say easygoing, laid back. I mean in a way where I could approach the same problems but calmly and come up with the answers. And I believe my health has improved tremendously. This is what we get reported back by most of our graduates.
John, thank you very much.